Now, in this video today, I want to talk about the 5 pros and cons about becoming a diving instructor. Hopefully, if you're thinking about becoming a diving instructor, this video can help you to make the right choice. Now, for the ones that don't know me, my name is Marcel van den Berg and I'm a PADI Platinum course director. I have taught thousands of dive masters and diving instructors from all over the world. If you're thinking about becoming a diving instructor in the end of this video, then maybe have a look in the description below where you find a link to my website, and then you can get in contact with me and I would love to chat about your future. I also have my private YouTube channel where I have tons of training videos specifically for dive master and diving instructor training. So have a look in the description below for that link and please subscribe to that channel. Now, with no further ado, let's go into the 5 pros and cons of becoming a diving instructor. So the first pro about becoming a diving instructor is being able to travel and work in some of the most beautiful locations around the world. Already right now, kind of have a look around you. And this is my office. This is where I come to work every single day. And it's very, very special. Now, you might already be living in one of the most beautiful locations in the world. Then I bet you have a dive center on the corner of your street. But where I come from before I came here, I'm from Holland. I love Holland. I love Amsterdam. And I think it's a fantastic place to work. But yeah, we do have a lot of rain in Holland, cloudy, cold. And I remember the first time I went on holiday to Asia, and I visited all these beautiful tropical islands with these lush jungles and these crystal clear oceans. And I just went like, you know, I don't want to work my ass off and then save money to go on holiday for a few weeks once in a while. Can I work there? Can I live there? Can I experience it every single day? This was actually one of the reasons why I decided to become a diving instructor. I love fish. You're going to hear all about it in the end of the video. But I also really wanted to increase, you know, my way of living. And this job gave me that. So where can you work then as a diving instructor? Now, you can work on a beautiful tropical island. If you do not like a lot of tourism, you like nature and quietness, you can try to find an island where there's almost no people. But if you think that's a bit boring, trust me on this one, there's beautiful tropical islands out there where you have lots and lots of people around you and lots of action as well. But when people think about becoming a diving instructor, they always think about this, oh, I'm gonna live and work on an island. And you might not like that too much. Maybe you think an island is, you know, a little bit closed up and you wanna be a bit more freer. Then you might give up on your choice to become a diving instructor. But don't, because you can actually work all over the world. Like, for example, another amazing place to work as a diving instructor is to work on a cruise ship. Being part of a cruise ship, people, you know, paying lots and lots of money to have the best time of their lives. They're happy constantly, and on top of this beautiful experience, you can give them an even better experience by seeing the underwater world. So working on a cruise ship is absolutely amazing. It has tons of benefits because you can actually travel around the world as well and experience that. I heard about the food is amazing for diving instructors on cruise ships. So it's not just working on tropical islands, there are other locations as well. What about maybe even being in beautiful mountains with altitude lakes? There are lakes in some places in the world like the United States, Canada, Switzerland, where the water is so crystal clear. You will have unlimited visibility. Yes, a little bit chilly, but we have dry suits to cover that as well. So what I think is that we all have our dream location in life where we want to end up. And in pretty much all of those dream locations, you will find a body of water where you can teach people diving. So this is definitely a super, super big pro. There's also always a con to a pro. And I think the downsides of this is that some of the most beautiful locations in the world are sometimes also a little bit more risky to work or live than other places. Example, again, I'm from Holland, very flat country, extremely low chance for any nature disasters. We have a hospital 5 minutes away, everywhere. We're very safe and protected. If you maybe work and live on this beautiful remote little tropical island somewhere with the best living conditions you can possibly think of, you might not have access to a hospital 5 minutes away. And I experienced that here. Right now, where I am working here in Koh Tao in Thailand, things have improved so much over the years. And now we do have a hospital here, and we have a fantastic speedboat system, helicopter system. But in the beginning, it was a little bit different, and it might take an hour, 1.5 hours to get to that hospital. You might go like, oh, I don't want to hear about hospitals, and what has this to do with becoming a diving instructor? Well, everything, because if you only choose to become a diving instructor, to look at fish and to share your passion that we're again going to talk about later, then sometimes we forget about these very important but negative things that can definitely impact us later. And I have seen people to come here, spend a lot of money, becoming a diving instructor, and then things like hospitals being too far away made them actually decide to go home. Now, it's not just hospitals, of course. Nature disasters, like some areas that are extremely beautiful might have volcanoes that are still active, tsunamis that can happen. So definitely these things will impact. And even if it doesn't impact you in a dangerous way, like for example, the volcano will never hurt you, then it might ground the airplanes temporarily for, let's say, a few weeks or a month. And of course, your job relies heavily on tourism. So if there's no airplanes for the next 4 weeks because, a volcano decides to become a little bit active, then you might not have any work for those 4 weeks as well. So things like that is definitely a downside of working at certain places around the world. But again, with good planning, you can avoid this. You can find places where they're beautiful, you don't have these situations, or you can make the decisions that you don't care, or the chances are so small that this probably won't affect you ever in the future. Definitely, I would not stop becoming a diving instructor for this reason, but it is something to think about when you make that choice. All right, so the second pro of becoming a diving instructor is getting paid for what you love to do. This, I think, until today, we all sometimes giggle about. When in the end of a hard working day, what do? We woke up in the morning, we meet our students as a diving instructor, we give them a cool briefing, ask them about, how they slept and their holidays and stuff like that, little chat. Then we walk to in this case, we're here in Thailand, in Koh Tao, a longtail boat that takes us to a dive boat. On the way to the dive site, we have fantastic time with our students. And then we go into the water and you show them some of the coolest experiences of their vacation, maybe even lives. So they're super happy. They discovered fish and corals and they learned really cool stuff to become a diver themselves, a safe diver. We bring them back up. We go on the boat back to land, and then in the end of a fantastic day, we have a coconut, a drink in the bar, looking at the sunset, with people telling you thank you every 2 seconds. You changed my life. You turned me into a diver. We love you. You go home, you have some food, and the next day it starts all over again. It's fantastic. We don't think about money. We're thinking about we having the best lives in the world, the best jobs in the world. However, in the end of that month, we do get that paycheck. And you're gonna go like, what? What is this? Did anyone actually give me money for what I just did? And they do. And in some cases, they pay you very well as well. Like, think about it. We keep them alive, we, keep them safe. We conquer people's fears if they have them. We increasing their happiness during the holidays significantly. And some people might remember that first scuba diving experience with you for the rest of their lives. I mean, put a price tag on that. That's almost impossible, right? So people are willing to pay a lot of money for that. And even if they might pay a little bit low in a certain area where you work, if you gave them 5,000%, they'll probably do the next course with you or give you fantastic tips as well. So money is definitely there to be made. Should you do this job just for the money? Absolutely not. I don't think you should do any job just for the money, because you will lose that passion for it. So forget about the money. That's my tip I always say. Just make people happy, teach them diving, enjoy the living conditions around you. And then in the end of the month, in most cases, somebody's going to pay you for that. And of course, you do still need that money to pay for your, your bungalow and your food, and in your off times, buying yourself a frisbee and playing frisbee on the beach. So we still need to be paid. Money is important, but don't do it for the money. Now, what is a downside then, or a con in this case, is, and you might have already did a bit of research, you found this on Facebook or anywhere else, where there's a lot of complaints that maybe the dive industry doesn't pay enough. In some cases, I heard stories about some people don't even get paid at all. They give them free courses and free accommodation, free food, but in return you have to work for the company with no payment. And I know it might sound attractive to some of you guys watching right now, going, well, I saved some money. I wouldn't mind taking off for a year and living the life and then living on my savings. But trust me on this one, it's one of the worst things that's happening in the dive industry. We call them these free internship or free working internships. Trust me, nothing is free in life. And actually, some of the dive centers that do this, they make a killing in profit using you as free labor. It hurts the dive industry as well, as people that paid a lot for their education to become a diving instructor now have a harder time finding work, as a lot of these dive centers are using this free labor. I think personally quality goes down too. Most free stuff in life, or cheap stuff, usually also, how do you say better? You get what you pay for. So be careful with this. But what if you pay some money for your courses, you invest all this time to learn to become a diving instructor, and then you're ready to get a job, and even if you find that job super quickly, you find out you might not make enough, and the dive center might pay you, let's say, $500 a month. Yeah, that's going to be tough. However, let's turn this positive for a second, and trust me, I can do a video on this for hours and hours and hours, which I actually will do in the future. But there's other ways of seeing value, not just in money. Like, for example, living conditions. If you are living in paradise every day, when you teach your courses, you need to follow the standards of your training organization. But besides that, you can pretty much do what you choose to do. You can organize your classroom sessions a certain way. A lot of places where you work, you have the freedom of, saying how long the lunch breaks are going to be. I remember working in an office where it was always super strict in break times and things like that. So that's very valuable. Another thing that's very valuable as well is, for example, living conditions. Depending on where you want to work as a diving instructor, most of the most beautiful places in the world are also much more affordable places to be. So, for example, again, I'm living on Koh Tao in Thailand, and my rent is in dollars, I guess between $250 to $300 a month. Compare that to Amsterdam, where I was paying 2,000 euros, or in dollars, $2,200 a month. Not only that, my place is on the mountain, and I have a sea view that literally a friend of mine just came here. He's from the States, and he said in LA that view will cost you $50 million, and I get it for $300 a month. So you see, even if my salary might be a little bit lower, I at the same time get better living conditions for way less money. So in Holland, if I would make, let's say, $4,000, which sounds cool, but my rent is $2,000, I only make $2,000. Here, I might make, let's say, I don't know, $1,000, but my rent is only $200 or $300. It can be cheaper. You see, it kind of equals out at certain points. And it's not just your rent, it's the food. When you live in these places, you get to experience some of the most amazing dishes that you can think of. And most of us, we never cook. Because going out of dinner to restaurants here is so cheap compared to most places in Europe or the United States or things like that. that we can actually go out of dinner every single night. Most of the time our students pay for us, or even the restaurants give us a free meal when we bring our students into the restaurant. So you eat for free or super cheap some of the most delicious meals you can ever possibly think of. So add all these things together, you might almost even make more money than you would make in a boring office job back home. Now, I just want to add one thing on top of that. It almost sounds like, oh, so guaranteed I'm going to make a low salary. Okay, I might make money on other things when I live there. No, I will put this in another video. So please subscribe to the channel because there will be another video about this one. But sometimes there's just too much negativity online. You know, in every job you got good employees and bad employees. Every restaurant I go to, I have a very bad waiter, and I've experienced some of the best waiters. They both work there, they both get the same salary. In the dive industry, it's the same thing. There's a lot of diving instructors that didn't make it in the end. And of course, they never blame themselves or their attitude. It's always the fault of the dive school or the dive industry or other diving instructors stealing their work, whatever they come up with. And they go home, whatever, and they start going on Facebook and other social media and they start complaining about their experiences. So yeah, I'm sad because they did experience maybe very bad working conditions, not getting enough paid, but it's not always the fault of the location, the dive industry or the dive shop. Maybe they just had a really bad attitude and their students just didn't want to continue the courses with them. They never trusted that person enough to maybe invest in a mask or a snorkel, you know. So in the end, if you have a really good attitude and you give the best customer service as a diving instructor that you can wish for, then trust me, dive schools will stand in line trying to hire you. And when they see that you are amazing, might take a month or 2 or 3, they are willing to maybe give you more money, maybe give you promotion and make you the boat leader on a liveaboard, or even being an example and turning you into a manager of a dive shop. Don't listen to the haters. Do some research where there's very popular places and where you have more opportunities to work. For example, here in Cartao, it's one of the best places to come to do your diving instructor and to find work afterwards, as we have the highest or one of the highest densities of beginner divers coming here to learn how to scuba dive. So there's tons of dive centers here and there are tons of job opportunities as well. So, you know, if you come to places like here, you're going to find there's lots of dive shops. If you have a fantastic attitude, you can make some really good money in this industry. If you want to know about salaries very quickly before we make a video of this one also, I think you can see it like this. The lowest you can make is around $500 a month. You just pick the worst location, worst dive shop, and or you might just not be cut out to do this work. Average salary in the dive industry is between $1,000 and $2,500 depending on where you work. And again, even if you get $1,000, your living conditions might be giving you that extra $1,000 on top of that. But I know a few instructors out there that made really good money, and we're talking about like $3,000 $4,000 and even higher than that. They are absolute superstars in this industry. They have the best customer service, the best attitude. They work hard. They have a passion you won't even apprehend. And those people, they go so high. The next pro to become a scuba diving instructor is, let me start with a quote that I absolutely love. And I have it on all my emails as well, in my little signature. And I go to bed with it and I stand up with it in the morning. If you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. Now, of course, I didn't come up with this quote. I found it on the internet and I was like, that's it. That's what we are doing. That's what I am doing. Like I said earlier on, you know, we so love our jobs that it just doesn't feel like a job at all. And I think that's one of the best things. You know, if hopefully one day, I mean, personally, hopefully we can live a little bit longer one day or even reach immortality. But as it is right now, we have one life. And I guess we should try to make the most out of this life. Biggest part of our lives is going to work for most of us. So if you do a job that you love, you know, you're having the best life. It's almost living in a holiday, but at the same time, you're getting paid for it. So being a diving instructor, yeah, is that. I know you might go like, well, wait a second, if I become an astronaut, that's pretty cool as well. I know, diving instructor is not the only job that people love to do. There's some other cool jobs out there, but learning to become a diving instructor or getting there, trust me, is a little bit easier, I think, than learning to become an astronaut. So that's another thing that's actually I wanted to add in here. A lot of people sometimes wonder, oh, becoming a diving instructor, it's going to take very long. It's probably going to be very expensive. I need to have in-depth knowledge about physics and these things. You know, do you need to be a dive master? I'm not a dive. I'm not even a scuba diver. Can I get there? Yes, 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 and yes. The cool thing is most diving organizations, they created these fantastic packages where you know you can do your open water beginner courses, moving on to advanced rescue diver course, into a dive master course, all in quite a short amount of time, which is amazing. You know, when you go to school, university to get a diploma for your job, you might lose, you know, 4 years of your life or 6 years or even longer. I think to reach dive master level can be done, let's say, I think with good quality, you know, not too fast. Sometimes it goes a little bit too fast. I think we can do it in, let's say, 2 to 3 months with lots of extra training. It can be faster even, but if you ever come to Koh Tao, and especially if you come to, you know, where I work, Sauri Cottage Diving, we do think quality is more important than just rushing you through and making a quick buck. So our dive master courses are here between at least 2 months to 3 months. But still, compared to 4 years, that's nothing. On top of that, it's very affordable. I know you might go like, wait, I checked your website. Again, I got a link in the description below if you want to check out my website. It's for more information about becoming a diving instructor. And you see these prices, you might go like, oh wow, that's, you know, it might cost me $1,000 or $2,000 or depending if you need to do all the courses, maybe $3,000. That's a lot of money, and it is. But if you compare that again to what you would pay for university for the next 4 years, that's nothing, right? And again, yes, you can really make a job out of this and a career. I came here with almost no diving experience at all 15 years ago to Koh Tao, and I did all those courses in one package, tons of experience, and look at me now. Now I'm a PADI Platinum course director for some of the best dive shops in the world. I mean, I got the dream job, and all because I took the choice to do it. Anyway, learn more about this in the link in the description. And again, I can also email you and call you later, and we can chat about your future. Now, so doing what we love is so important. However, are there any cons to that as well? Yeah, guys, it's still a job. So what? Didn't you just say this is not a job? This is something we love? Yes. However, it is still a job. It's just a really, really, really fun job. And that's why we sometimes, or most of the time, forget about the time and all that stuff. But you still, besides teaching people, and you know, that's the fun part, right? Sitting in front of them, looking in their eyes and talking with passionate about, you know, about how they can adjust their buoyancy a little bit better. So they can now enjoy the aquatic life a little bit better as well. It's so fun to do. And then when you go diving and you practice that good buoyancy and you see that because of your knowledge, they can now enjoy the reef so much better that it gives you it's almost an addiction. It's so cool. But is that the only thing? And then you just go to that, maybe, you know, in the end bar, have yourself a drink on sunset and go home? Not always. It depends a little bit where you work. Some of us are very spoiled. Like, I worked for a company in my career that was so great that they had people for everything. So they were, you know, carrying tanks for us. They had a speedboat driver. As a diving instructor, we showed up, gave 5,000% to our students, get to the dive site, have fun and have that drink in the end of the day and go home. Awesome. But it's not always the case. A lot of other dive centers, they can't do that. They can't hire all these people. So you're the dive instructor, but you're also the guy that, or the girl, right, that fills the tanks. You are carrying the tanks. In the end of the day, you know, you might have to wash the equipment and take good care of that stuff. equipment is very expensive stuff. We never really think about it, but the dive shop owners, they pay a lot of money for that. So if you come back from the dive and you just don't really take good care of it, you wash it briefly, just try to get home as early as possible, the dive center owner or manager is going to notice that, and you're not going to keep this job for very long. So sometimes we have to wake up early, fill the tanks, carry them all, organize the boat, make everything is perfect, we don't forget anything. We got a first aid, we got an oxygen, safety's there. Then you meet your students. Now you talk and have fun, and then afterwards you go diving, which is fantastic. You debrief them. Yes, you do have a customer service drink with them in the bar, but don't forget, in the end, we still have to take care of all the equipment and organizing everything perfectly for the next day. And that's not always so fun to do. But hey, if that's the price to pay for all the other great things in the job, come on, compare it to most other jobs like working in a factory or no offense to anybody working in a factory right now, but come on, but yeah, sometimes long days and we have to work hard. But if you don't care, if you don't mind, owners will love you. You keep your job, you make more money, and in the end, it's all about teaching your students as a diving instructor. That's what it's all about. All right, so pro number 4 of becoming a scuba diving instructor is meeting people from all over the world. This was something I didn't even thought about before I made my choice to become a diving instructor. I was thinking about being able to travel, living in these beautiful locations, getting paid for what I love. But then when I got here and I started getting my first students, and in my training, assisting these courses with students, we had people joining an open water class from Holland, from United States, from Israel, South America, from Mexico. And I loved it because it brings all these cool cultures together for a few days to learn an open water diver course. But because the open water diver course it can be life-changing. You're going into a new realm. A lot of people are a little bit nervous. You're out of your comfort zone. And we as diving instructors, we're going to help these guys to get through that. And this creates lots of super, super good bonding between you and your students. On top of that, you have some entertainment besides the course, like taking them out of dinner, things like that. So in a very short amount of time, we get very close with our students. And having then all these nationalities from all over the world, fantastic stories. They all talk about where they're from, what they do for a living, for a job back home, and I've learned so much. I've learned so much about the world without even traveling there, just because I had all these students in my courses sharing their stories from the locations where they're from. So I think that is absolutely amazing. What is a downside of this thing? You might go like, what could be a downside of meeting all these people from around the world? Where you teach them, it's sometimes a language barrier. I do admit, I'm from Holland. I can speak English, and well, not perfect. I'm sorry for any of the grammar mistakes I'm making now. And I can speak Dutch. A lot of people from Holland speak also some German and a bit of French here and there. But not me. I was never really good in languages, so I can only speak 2. Some people I know, they can speak like 6 or 7 or 8 languages. And does that help you as a diving instructor? Absolutely. You're extremely employable because a lot of people, they want to do these diving courses in their own language, so they request an Italian instructor or a German instructor. But they don't need specifically a German instructor, they just need a German-speaking instructor. So if you know a few languages, that can significantly help you in your success becoming a diving instructor. Sometimes people want to do an English course, but they are, let's say, from Mexico. They still want to do an English course, they want to learn everything in English, but it's nice if the instructor can also speak a little bit of Spanish, because if they get stuck, they can ask questions in their own language, or get an answer in their own language. So that is very valuable. And why is that a downside? Why is that a con? Because if you don't speak those languages, it might be a bit harder for you to get work. But then again, there's so many managers and dive shop owners and other course directors that I've heard before saying, this is the most important thing to have is languages to get work, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think that's true at all. Yes, it can help you, but some of the best diving professionals that I've met in my career speak one language, you know, or maybe two, but they still kind of teach only in one language anyway. So don't make this hold you back. Like if you go, oh, but I can only speak English, you know, I don't stand a chance. Not true at all. Don't listen to those haters. It's all about attitude. We actually did a video about why attitude is such an important attribute to have as a diving instructor. So please go to the videos on this channel and go and check out that video. But if your attitude is good, you become successful. Trust me. But on top of that, if you have a fantastic attitude and you can speak 6 languages, yeah, of course, it's going to be even easier to get your dream job in this dive industry. All right, last but not least, the 5th pro about becoming a diving instructor is being able to teach your passion. Now you might go, wait, you said that a few times during this video already, and I did. It kind of means that this is a very important one, but I really want to finish up with this even more, because every time I teach an IDC course, which stands for Instructor Development Course, then I always ask in my orientation to my candidates, like, why are you here? You know, like, why do you want to become a diving instructor? I've heard people say that I work in the office and I want to get away from that. I've had someone say that I just want to live on a beautiful tropical island and there's not a lot of opportunities for work there except for being a diving instructor. So that's kind of the reason. And, you know, they're all fair. Well, the most common answer I get from most of my candidates, it's always the same. It's they love diving. They're super passionate about the underwater world. And, you know, they're already, because they love diving so much, they work a lot on their buoyancy, you know, how to improve themselves constantly. Maybe they love underwater photography and they, you know, learn a lot about that stuff. And now they just want to share that knowledge to others and teach that passion for scuba diving to other people. And that's the main reason why most people want to become a diving instructor. And it's not just related to sharing your passion of diving to other people. It's just teaching someone in general. It's just awesome. Let's say that, for example, you have one of your diving students that is a little bit nervous. A bit scared of fish, doesn't really know if that person really wants to go scuba diving. If you are a diving instructor that don't have that passion, that don't really want to actually teach people, but you're just here to sort of live on a tropical island, you know, and this is what you have to do to be there, then that will reflect very quickly on your student. They react on that. But if you're super passionate and you turn every scary story for scuba diving into something positive and something to look forward to almost, like aquatic life, it doesn't have to be very dangerous. You know, if we show respect to aquatic life, it respects you back. And then you show them some amazing, cool, beautiful pictures of I don't know, Nemo, clownfish, living in this anemone. And yeah, an anemone can sting you, but just showing how beautiful it is, and then we take our distance, people just get excited and they want to go there. They go there, they love it, they come back, and they said, oh my God, I tried scuba diving 3 times before, but because of you, because of your passion, I'm now getting certified and I'm going to be diving all around the world. You know what? I want to become a dive instructor myself, sharing that passion with other people. That's gold. And I think that's the best thing. The thank yous in the end of the day, handwritten letters sometimes, hugs, tears in their eyes. It's quite overwhelming, I can tell you. And there's no salary that can come close to that. So teaching others something is very special. Teaching them to overcome fears is even cooler. And then teaching them to become passionate about something that you are passionate about, that's the ultimate dream. All right, so last one then, the con for this one. So what is the downside of teaching your passion? Oh, I got it. Nah, actually, I'm just joking with you. I don't think there is a downside. I'm sorry, there is no con to this one. I did thought about this for a few hours before I recorded this video. And then at one point, I just went, I give up. There is no con for teaching your passion. It's so hard to explain. You have to come here. You have to become a diving instructor to really experience what I'm trying to tell you. But if you do become the diving instructor, then one day you're gonna go, that's what Marcel meant on that video. This is one of the best things I am doing right now, or can be doing in my life. So there are 5 pros to become a diving instructor, but in this case, only 4 cons. Now, I can go on for hours. There are hundreds of more reasons why we should become a diving instructor. However, these are the most important ones, I think, for now. And I hope this really helped you as well in making a decision if you want to become a diving instructor. So if this helped you, this video, and you liked it, then please hit that like button down there, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, again, I have my own YouTube channel where I focus on giving scuba diving training videos and lots of information for dive master instructors, but even for recreational divers. So don't forget to check my channel, and you can do that by going down in that description and clicking that link and subscribe and hit that bell as well. Now, to finish it up, if you want to become a diving instructor, you have more questions about that, then please leave them in the comments below. I will answer all of your questions that you have. It might take a day, but trust me, I will be on the ball. And if you want to become a diving instructor with me, then again, in this description, there's a link to my website, and I would love to get in contact with you. So thanks guys for watching, and have a fantastic day. And don't forget to blow bubbles and enjoy scuba diving.